So as you're ready, come into Baddha Konasana, supported by your bolster. Take whatever height you need under your neck, and just ensure that the back of the neck stays long, the front of the throat soft, shoulders drawn down and away from the ears, chest broad, hips and groins open and soft and supported by blocks if needed. And just come on into your breath now. Just observe if you're holding tension anywhere throughout your body. And can you let the jaw soften, the tongue soften? Take a gentle swallow, soften the throat again. And some of you may need to just draw your chin in slightly to keep the back of the neck long. Think light and feel light. When an asana is done correctly, the body movements are smooth, and there is a lightness in the body and a freedom in the mind. When the asana is felt as being heavy, it is wrong. You must try to impart a feeling of lightness throughout the body. When we lose the lightness, our bodies shrink. The moment the body shrinks, the brain becomes heavy and dull, and you see nothing. The doors of perception are closed. You should lift the chest and open the mind, and the corners of the chest are the pillars and should always be firm. It's the spine's job to keep the mind alert. To do this, the spine has to keep the brain in position. The spine must never be slack, but must reach up to the self. Otherwise, the divine light within you dims. Gently bring your hands to the tummy, interlace the fingers to the webbing, and turn the palms towards the ceiling, straightening the elbows. Stay broad across the chest. With breath, take the arms overhead, maintaining the breadth of the chest and keeping the elbows straight. Can you take your shoulders away from the ears, drawing them down towards your waist? Inhale, raise the arms to the vertical. Exhale and release. Changing the interlace of the fingers. Press the palms towards the ceiling as you straighten the elbows. Stay broad across the chest, take the arms overhead. To your extent today. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale and release down. Help your knees to come together, rolling to the side, and come to sit up, facing the front in crossed legs. Take the support that you may need under your buttocks so that you can sit comfortably. So anchoring through the sit bones, draw the palms back to the back of the bolster, lift through the crown of the head, and drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. Maintaining the lift, bring the hands to heart centre. Closing down the eyes. Exhale the breath. Inhale. Bowing chin to chest. Surrender the intelligence of your head to the intelligence of your heart. Gently opening the eyes, lowering the hands and lifting the head. Welcome everybody. So clear your mats now and take 2 blocks. We're setting up for Paryanukasana. So place the blocks so they're in a T shape. Come to sit on your bottoms and take the height that you need. So you'll be laying along the length of your mat. So sitting down on your bottom now, and you're going to bend your arms and help yourself to come down to laying on the block. So the first block that's placed down is going to go in between your shoulder blades, and the block that's at the end is for your head. Now you may need to adjust the blocks. If you find that the block is too far down and it's difficult to breathe, you need to take the block further away and move it closer to the end block or towards the end of your mat. So just take the time to set up here. You're after the block in the middle of the shoulder blades. Bring your legs into cross legs now. Adjust the block so that the back of the neck is long and the chin's drawn in. Allow the shoulders to come away. And you can shut down your eyes here and come into your breath. Stay long through the tailbone. Paryanukasana. As you're lying here, draw your attention to the block in the dorsal region. That's the part, the space between the 2 shoulder blades. Throughout the sequence today, I'll be constantly referring to the dorsal spine. And that's the area that you're feeling the pressure now between the shoulder blades. Can you also notice that as the dorsal spine is being drawn towards the front chest, can you feel the expansion of your chest as the dorsal presses towards the front? The chest opens, collarbones are broad. Can you now draw your shoulders away from your ears and lift the chest now towards your chin? So the action that I'll be referring to is this: dorsal through, chest lifted, shoulders back and down away from ears. Change the fold of your legs. And come into your breath. Unfold the legs now, bring the knees together. Place the palms on the floor, and you can even grip the side of the mat here, bend the elbows and come forward, chin in, up to sitting. Move the blocks to the side and come over into Ardha Mukha Virasana. So drawing the tailbone down towards the heels, extend through the fingertips to lengthen the side waist. Draw the dorsal through to the front ribs. Move the chest towards the chin. And can you now draw the shoulders or the arms into the sockets, shoulders away from ears. Come forward over the wrists, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, tuck the toes, straighten the legs and lift the hips. Dorsal through to the front ribs. And draw your chest towards your legs. Tadasana in your legs. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, come over your hands, knees wide, and back into Ardha Mukha Virasana. And just walking the hands back now and coming up to sit. We're going to be sitting, we're doing a little Virasana cycle, so taking the height you need. I might suggest if you are tight in the knees that you use a bolster, otherwise like Annie's using a block there. If you are particularly tight in the knees, perhaps you might even use a block on top of your bolster. And the other thing to do is just to come forward, place your thumbs behind the back of your knees, draw the muscle, the calf muscle down away from the knee and then out to the side and come back on to sit. And, sorry Annie, you'll need to get a strap as well. So just have your strap handy. And come into Virasana. So tops of the feet, tops of the shins pressing into the mat. Anchor the sit bones on the support, lift through the crown of the head. Now draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. Take the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Interlace the fingers, Parvatasana arms. Press the palms away as you straighten the elbows. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Inhale, raise the arms to the vertical. Stay long through the tailbone. Dorsal through, chest lifted, shoulders down. Exhale the breath and bring the arms down. Change the interlace of the fingers. Turn the palms, straighten the elbows. Shoulders down. Inhale, raise the arms. Dorsal, chest, shoulders. Exhale and release. Bring your strap, if you know you need it for Gomukhasana, arms. So placing the strap over the right shoulder. And we're going to take our arms out to the side, level with the shoulders, raising the right arm and bend that now to place the palm in the middle of the back or take hold of the strap. Take the left arm now, turn the thumb down, rotate the arm in the socket, sweep the arm behind and take hold of the strap, or as Annie's doing here, your fingers if you can reach that. Now if you can only get a short distance down the back, see if you can work your arms or your hands together. Just gently lift the pelvis here, or the pubis, to lengthen through the tailbone and anchor those sit bones. Lift up now through the crown of the head. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. Can you take your shoulder tips back and down? Gomukhasana in Virasana. Inhale, raise the right arm. Exhale and take the arms out to the side, shoulder height. If you're using the strap, change the side, take it to the left shoulder now, and now raise the left arm, bend the elbow, take the palm to the back, turn the right thumb down, sweep the arm behind the back and take hold of the strap or your fingers, and again setting the tailbone, sending it down by lifting the pubis, lift through the crown of the head. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. And if you can walk your hands up the strap a little further, do so. Send the shoulder tips back and down away from the ears. Inhale, raise the left arm. Exhale, take the arms to the shoulder height and release them down. Just removing the strap and come back into Virasana. Keep the press in the top of the feet and top of the shins as you're working through these poses. Inhale, interlace the fingers again. Press the palms away. Now take the arms overhead to your extent. Set the shoulders. Exhale and release. Change the interlace. Press the palms away. Straighten the elbows. Inhale. Raise the arms. Shoulders away from ears. Dorsal through and chest lifted. Keep lifting up. And release out of the pose. Going to Garudasana arms. So taking the arms out to shoulder height again. Bend the right elbow and bring the arm in front. Sweep the left arm under the right arm, crossing at the elbows, and bring the palms together if you can. If not, you can just work your forearms together. Maintain the lift in the fingers, pointing directly up. Draw the elbows up closer to the chin, and then make sure that the hands aren't coming in towards the face. Now stay broad across the collarbones here. Draw the dorsal in and lift the chest. Shoulders away from ears. Garudasana in Virasana. Inhale, release the arms to the side. Now, bend the left elbow, bring it to the front, sweep the right arm under, crossing at the elbows, and again, bringing the palms together, fingers pointing up, elbows lifted so they're just in line with the chin, broad across the collarbones, dorsal through and chest lifted. Shoulders back and down. Inhale and release out the pose. Take the arms to the side and then let them come down. Reset the legs. Press into the tops of the feet, tops of the shins. Bring the interlace the fingers to the webbing again. Press the palms away. Pavatasana. Inhale, raise the arms. Send the shoulders down away from the ears. Lift through the chest. Exhale, release the arms, change the interlace. Press the palms away. Keep the elbows straight, shoulders down away from ears. Inhale, raise the arms. Set the shoulders here. Stay long through the tailbone. Inhale, exhale, and release the arms. Now, if you've got a strap, we're going to just draw the shoulders back. So we're going to clasp the arms, if you can, behind the back, so that the palms touching. So you can see what Annie's doing here. Straighten the elbows and then draw the arms down towards the buttocks by lifting and taking the shoulder tips back. If that's too strong for you, you can take the belt and again lift and roll the shoulder tips back. Stay long through the tailbone here. Lift up through the chest as you draw the dorsal through and press the hands down towards the floor. And release. Take the arms to the side, turn the thumbs down, and we're sweeping the hands behind the back into either Paschimottanasana or crossed elbows. So take the hands onto each elbow, drawing the shoulder tips back and down again, lifting through the chest, staying long through the tailbone. If you're in Kashi Namaskar, stay there. If not, take the arms to the side, sweep the arms back and change the cross or the fold of the elbows. And again, reset the shoulders so they're back and down away from the ears. Sit tall, lift the chest. And release out of the pose. Take the arms to the side, stretch out, stay broad across the collarbones, and bring the hands back down. We'll interlace the fingers one more time, press the palms away. Parvatasana in Virasana. Inhale, raise the arms. Shoulders down away from the ears, dorsal through and chest lifted. Inhale, exhale and release. Change the interlace. Press the palms away as you straighten the elbows. Inhale, raise the arms. Set the shoulders. And release out of the pose. Just come forward now into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, just to allow the legs to straighten out. So press up, straighten the legs and come into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Can you now draw the dorsal through to the front ribs and send the chest back towards your legs? Keeping the shoulders down away from the ears. Tadasana in your legs. And bend the knees and just sit back. Now remove your props again. You will need your blocks to the short end of your mat. And we're coming into Ardha Uttanasana. So let's come to standing Tadasana. So set the Tadasana legs, grip and lift the knees, firm the thighs, send the thighs back. Tailbone long, lift through the crown of the head. Shoulder tips back and down. Dorsal through, chest lifted. And extend down through the fingertips, elbows straight. Tadasana. Inhale the arms. Urdhva Hastasana. Can you draw your shoulder tips down away from the ears here? Palms forward, exhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Now, take the height of the blocks that you need. Take your feet hip width apart here. And if you find that even the tall blocks are still too low, you can place a block underneath so you can get yourself a little higher. So now, press down flat palms onto the block. Send the tailbone down towards the heels so that you're lengthening through the tailbone. Draw your dorsal through to the front ribs and send the chest now forward towards your chin. Use the press of the blocks to draw the shoulders down away from the ears to send the chest forward. Keep the back of your neck long and the head in line with the spine. Keep the press of the hands. So I'll keep referring to setting the shoulders, that's drawing them down and back away from the ears, and dorsal through, chest lifted. That should be the feeling that you should be experiencing in this pose. Set the legs now, inhale and come to Urdhva Hastasana. And release. Now I'll get you to take a chair. And we're just going to have the same experience again, only at a different height. Sorry, bring the back of the chair to face you. And we're coming into Ardha Uttanasana again. So just step back away from the chair, gauge the length. So we're coming into this position. But first of all, take the feet hip width apart. Let's raise the arms to Urdhva Hastasana. Now, draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. Send the shoulders back and down away from the ears. As you inhale now, maintain that lift and come forward. Palms facing each other and thumbs pointing up. Now you may have to walk back a little bit, depending on where you place the chair. Set the legs in Tadasana. Gently lift the pubis to lengthen through the tailbone. We're aiming for a flat back. Draw the dorsal through and send the chest towards the chin. Use the press of the wrists on the back of the chair to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Keep the work in the legs. Back of the neck long. With each exhalation, can you draw the hips back and the chest forward? So you're extending and lengthening through the side waist here. Inhale, just bend your knees and walk forward and come on up. Raise the arms to Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale and take them down. Turn the chair around now so you've got the front of the seat facing you. And step back. Again, feet hip width apart. Set the legs to Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Dorsal through, chest lifted, shoulders away from ears. Keeping the lift. Exhale now and bend forward. You're going to take your palms flat onto the seat. You may need to adjust the feet back a little or the chair. Make your adjustment now and come into Ardha Uttanasana. This is slightly stronger than the previous pose. So send the tailbone down, lengthen through the tailbone, draw the hips back away, dorsal through to front ribs, chest lifted, shoulders back away from ears. Long through the back of the neck, ears in line with arms. Keep the arms straight. Inhale, bend the knees, walk in, raise the arms, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, release the arms. Now, we're going to come back into that same stance we're in. This time, however, bring your hands to wrap around the side of the chair. And we're going to work with this just simply to give more space for the chest to move forward. So come into Ardha Uttanasana. Focus on dorsal, chest, shoulders. Inhale, Come forward over the wrists now to straight arm chaturanga. Press into the hands to draw the shoulders away from the ears as you send the dorsal through and lift the chest. Keep the work in the legs, Tadasana legs. Inhale and come back to Ardha Uttanasana. Reset the shoulders, dorsal, through, chest lifted. Inhale, come forward over the wrists again. Tadasana in your legs, keep the work in the legs, legs strong. Press into the seat, draw the shoulders away from the ears, dorsal through, chest lifted. And breathe. Inhale and come on back. One more, over the wrists. Strong legs. Set the shoulders. Lift the chest. And come back. Now this time we're going to come forward. So Annie, if I can just get you to come forward, and we're going into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. However, keep the toes, really work the legs, and it's not even too far. Send the tailbone down, otherwise you'll catch across the back, and draw the hips slightly forward. Lifting up through the chest, dorsal in, shoulders set down away from the ears. Thanks, Annie, come back. So hands on the outside, we won't stay in this too long, and what I don't want is hips to sink forward. Hips to sink down. Hips are to draw forward. Tailbone must be long, so you lift the pubis, and you really need to have Tadasana in those legs. So let's come forward to straight arm chaturanga. Now just move your hips forward, even if you come forward about 4 centimetres, not very far. Now press into the seat, lift the chest, draw the dorsal through, keep the tailbone long and keep Tadasana in those legs. Exhale and come back. Come into your breath. And we go forward again. So, straight arm chaturanga, set the legs, lengthen the tailbone here. Lift the chest as you draw the dorsal through, and now just move the hips slightly forward, a few centimetres, just to get the weight over the wrists. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest here, look up. Keep the work in the legs, exhale, and come on back. Bend the knees, step forward, and now just coming into resting Uttanasana. So let the head drop down and hold on to each elbow. And coming into breath here. Just bend the knees slightly and allow that tailbone to lengthen. Inhale, bend the knees, and come on up. So clear the props out of the way now, and we're setting up for standing poses. So bring your blocks to the back of your mat. And come to stand in the centre of your mat in Tadasana. So set your Tadasana legs here. 4 corners of the feet, inner edges of the feet touching, grip and lift the knees to draw the thighs back. Gently lift the pubis, stay long through the tailbone, lift through the crown of the head. Draw the shoulders down and back away from the ears and set the arms. Elbows straight, fingers down towards the floor. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands forward, exhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Dorsal, chest, shoulders. Use the press of your thighs or your shins to draw the shoulders away from the ears. Keep the back of the neck long. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, strong legs. Exhale, Tadasana. Bend the elbows and knees and step or jump wide. We're coming into Utthita Trikonasana. So turn the right foot down the length of the mat, in the hip socket. Kick the outside back heel out slightly and Tadasana in your legs. Grip and lift the knees, firm the thighs. Inhale, you're going to bring your hand to your hip. Your left hand to your hip, and you're going to extend out to the right and take your hand down to the shin, or in fact actually get the block and place it on the back, near the back ankle. Right, set the legs here, Tadasana in your legs. Now, as we pressed into the block for Ardha Uttanasana, we're going to have that same press here. So palm flat on the block, press into the block to draw the shoulder away from the ears. And now draw the dorsal through and bring the chest towards the chin as you bring the top shoulder back and down. Keep the work in the legs. Inhale, press into the front big toe mount and come on up. Take the arms out and we go to full pose if you're going there today. Inhale, exhale, bring the bottom arm down and bring your arm to the top if you're going there like Annie's doing, but still using the press into that bottom block to bring the shoulder away from the ears. If that's not for you today, come with me, hand on hip, and we repeat the last pose. Now, if you're balanced, you can take the gaze now to the ceiling. Set the shoulders. Inhale, and come on up. Just move the block back to the back of the mat, and we're going to turn the feet to the front, then around to the left. Make sure you're not shortening your stance. Bring your hands to your hips. Take your left arm out and come over the left leg, Utthita Trikonasana, taking the block on its highest side behind the left heel. Now, pressing into the block here, draw the shoulders down away from the ears, dorsal through to lift the chest, draw the chest towards the chin, and send the top shoulder tip back and down. Keep the work in the bottom arm, keep the press in that block. Tadasana legs. Inhale, come on up, and we come to full pose. Inhale, exhale, come on over. Top hand to the vertical if you're going there, otherwise stay with me, hand on hip, still pressing into the block, still setting the shoulders, dorsal and chest in work. And take the gaze to the ceiling if that's for you. Utthita Trikonasana or triangle pose. Inhale and come on up. Just move the block back. Turn the feet to the front and back to Tadasana. Reset. So keep the Tadasana in the legs here. Lift through the chest, broad across the collarbones. And we jump wide, bend the elbows, bend the knees, and we jump wide too. Set the legs. Turn the right foot down the length of the mat, bringing your hands to your hips. And we're coming into Warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. Set the shoulders down from the ears, shoulder tips back and down. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. Tadasana in your legs. Now bend the right knee to a right angle, press into the outer back foot. Keep that back leg straight and keep the work in your legs. Now, can you set your shoulders down? Lift through the chest and get broad across the collarbones. Inhale, straighten the leg. Take the arms to the side, full pose. Inhale, bend the leg to a right angle. Take the eyes down the right arm. Set the shoulders broad and lift through the chest. Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, straighten the leg. Bring the hands to your hips, turn the feet to the front, and then we go to the left side. Rotating the leg in the socket. Make sure your stance isn't shortening. Hands on hips, lift through the crown of the head, set the legs. Bend the left leg to a right angle, coming on down. Broad across the collarbones, set the shoulders, dorsal through, chest lifted. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Take the arms to the side, full pose. Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, exhale, bend the left leg. Outer back heel press, front big toe mound. Set the shoulders, broad across the chest. Take the eyes down the left arm. Inhale, straighten the leg. Bring the hands to your hips, turn your feet to the front, and jump back to Tadasana. Find your Tadasana here and find neutral in your stand. Bring the hands to your chest, bend the knees and jump wide, or step wide. Bring your hands to your hips and turn the right foot down the length of your mat again. Pick up the back heel and take the legs wide so that the feet, hips and chest are facing the short end of your mat. Set your pelvis here and Tadasana in your legs. Now we're going to set the legs and bring the arms into Urdhva Hastasana. Tailbone long, chest lifted, broad across the collarbones. And arms down to the hips again. This time we're going to bend the knee and come into Virabhadrasana 1, but we're going to keep the hands on the hips. So set the legs, set the pelvis, inhale, draw the dorsal through, lift the chest now as you bend the left knee, right knee, to a right angle, tailbone long here and really pressing into the back outer heel. Dorsal through, lift the chest and look up if you're balanced. Inhale and come up. Turn the feet to the front and we turn around now to the left. Pick up the back heel, set the pelvis, keep the stance long, working the back leg, outer back heel, front big toe mound. Inhale, raise the arms, Urdhva Hastasana. Keep the tailbone long, dorsal through, chest lifted. Exhale and bring your hands to your hips. Lengthen through the tailbone, set the legs. Dorsal through, chest lifted, collarbones broad. Inhale, bend the left knee to a right angle. Tailbone long, press into the outer back heel and lift the chest. Now look up. Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. And come on up. Turn the feet to the front and come back to Tadasana. Reset. Can you find a little more height in your Tadasana now? As you broaden across the collarbones, send the shoulder tips back and down. Bend the arms and the knees and jump wide. Bring your hands to your hips. Turn the right leg down the length of your mat. Pick up the back foot and take it slightly wider. Feet, hips, shoulders facing the short end of your mat. Again, setting the pelvis and work in the legs, Tadasana legs. Sweep your arms to Urdhva Hastasana. Stay long through the tailbone, lifting through the chest, dorsal through. Turn the palms out and bring your arms to shoulder height. Now we're going to sweep the arms behind the back into either Paschimottanasana, or you're going to cross your arms, holding onto the elbows. Parsvottanasana. So dorsal through, chest lifted, look up as you now maintain the length in your spine and come forward over the hips to halfway. Keep the pelvis level and keep the work in the legs. Dorsal through to chest, chest through to chin. Shoulder tips drawn back and down away from the ears. Inhale and come on up. Change the cross of the arms if you did, otherwise stay in Paschimottanasana. And we go again. Set the legs tailbone long. Dorsal through and chest lifted. Broad across the collarbones. Inhale, look up and come forward over the right leg. Halfway. Keep the press in the legs. Can you draw your shoulders away from your ears? Parsvottanasana. Inhale and come on up. Release the arms to the side. Bring them to your hips. Turn the feet to the front. And we turn to the left. Pick up the back heel. Set the pelvis. Tadasana in your legs. Working that back leg. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, take the palms to or the arms to shoulder height. Sweep the hands behind the back again into either opposite cross or Paschimottanasana. Set the tailbone long. Draw the dorsal through. Lift the chest. Shoulders down. Look up. Inhale. Exhale, come forward over the left leg to halfway. Keep the work in your legs. Neck long. Parsvottanasana. Inhale and come on up. Change the fold of the arms, otherwise stay in Paschimottanasana. Tailbone long, lift the chest, set the shoulders. Inhale and come forward. Back of the neck long. Inhale and come on up. Turn the feet to the front. Release the arms to the side and bring them down onto your hips. Now just take your feet slightly wider and bring your blocks to the front of your mat under your shoulders for Prasarita Padottanasana. Now it's the same press of the palms into your blocks that we've been doing to draw the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Draw the dorsal through now and send the chest through towards your chin. Stay long through the back of the neck. Tailbone down. Keep the work here. Use the press of the hands to draw the shoulders away from the ears. And keep drawing the dorsal through to the chest and sending the chest through to the chin. Now, if you're on cycle or it's not for you to go into full pose today, walk your blocks forward, otherwise follow Annie as she takes her blocks onto a lower height or down into full pose and walks her hands back level with her feet, keeping the elbows drawn in, and take the head down to your extent. Otherwise, blocks walk forward, and both groups now, dorsal through, chest lifted, shoulders down. Prasarita Padottanasana. And come into your breath. Inhale and walking your hands or blocks back under your shoulders. And again, let's just set the palms either on the floor or the block, pressing in, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. Send the dorsal through and lift the chest. Stay long through the back of the neck and keep Tadasana in your legs here. Inhale, just bend the knees slightly and heel toe the feet now. Back together, bend the knees and just come on up slowly to Tadasana. So reset Tadasana. Dorsal, chest, shoulders. Can you get more height? And release. Take the feet hip width apart, bring the arms above the head, cross the arms and hold on to opposite elbows. Bend the knees slightly and just come forward into a resting Uttanasana. Again, allow the tailbone to be long here and allow the neck to lengthen, coming into your breath. Bend the knees slightly and come on up. Now you'll need to have one block and a strap. So just remove your other block. We're coming to lie down on our backs on the mat. And you're going to place the block between the legs this way. So we want to keep the legs hip width apart. So place the block between the legs, and then you're going to do the strap up around there. Just down, sort of halfway down your thighs. Actually, I think we better turn that. Sorry, it's a bit ambitious. And do your strap up. We're just going to do a little bit of back bending. We've done a lot of work on drawing the dorsal or the thoracic through. and lifting and broadening the chest. So we're applying that now in this asana. Okay, so just come on down to laying down. Allow the elbows to bend and allow yourself to come on down. Draw your feet in towards your bottom and press the legs, inside edges of the legs, onto the block. Now take hold of the mat on either side and just walk your shoulders one at a time as you press into the mat, keeping the back of the neck long here, feet flat on the floor, press into the block. Draw the dorsal through to the front body and lift the chest now towards the chin. Gripping the mat now with the shoulder blades, the shoulders drawn under, allows the shoulder tips to come down and away from the ears. Now you're going to inhale, lift the hips as you press into the soles of the feet and press into the block. Can you now walk your shoulders, still holding onto the edge of the mat, further under as you draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. Keep the press in the legs and lift your hips now. Stay long through the tailbone so you don't cramp the lumbar. Inhale, exhale. Now come down slowly, come up onto your toes. Allow the shoulders to come out slightly and then come down one vertebrae at a time. A really gentle action and allow the pelvis to settle. Come into your breath here. We've got 2 more of these. Just make sure that the outside edges of your feet are parallel to the edge of your mat. So you might need to just have a little look if you can't feel it. So let's take hold of the mat again, grip the mat and draw the shoulders under. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest towards the chin. Now press into the feet and lift the hips. Keep the tailbone drawn down towards the knees. Walk the shoulders under a little further if you can and press down now into the mat to draw the shoulders away from the ears, to draw the dorsal through and lift the chest. Keep lengthening through the tailbone. And release. Walk the arms, the shoulders out, and now allow the spine to come down one vertebrae at a time. And allow the body to soften. Now this time when you go, can you draw the shoulders a little further under? We're working towards shoulder stand in this foundation sequence, although we won't actually be doing full shoulder stand. So just working on getting those shoulders back. Holding onto the mat, can you draw your feet in a little closer to your buttocks? Reset the feet, outside edges of the feet in line with the mat. Walk the shoulders under, just a little. Draw the dorsal through, lifting the chest. Inhale, press into the feet and lift the hips. Can you walk the shoulders under just that little bit more? Sending the dorsal through, staying long through the tailbone. Keep the press in the feet. And walk the shoulders out and come on down one vertebrae at a time. Allow the pelvis to settle and release the arms. Just gently draw your knees towards your chin and lengthen through the tailbone, and use this pose now just to undo your belt and remove the block. And just draw your chin in while you're here to lengthen through the back of the neck. Now sending the feet back down flat on the floor. Take the feet wide to the outside edge of your mat and let your knees just fall in to touch each other. And inhale, rolling to the side and coming on up. We're coming into Setyabandha. So you're going to use a block, depending on what height you can work at, depending on the flexibility of your lumbar here. But our main focus here is drawing the shoulders back, dorsal through, chest lifting. So take a block at whatever height. I'll go the lowest height and Annie will take whatever height she needs for today. And remember, this can change from one practice to the other. So, taking your feet hip width apart, laying flat on your back. You're going to do just what we did before in the last asana, press into the feet and lift the hips. Then slide the block under the flat part of the pelvis, and this should feel comfortable. Allow the shoulders to come back and down. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest, and take the arms to the side, palms turned up. Can you take a moment here just to walk the shoulders under a little more? Keep that flat pelvis. You shouldn't feel any gripping in the lumbar here. If you are, reduce the height. Draw the dorsal through and lift the chest, sending the shoulders down away from the ears. And we're here for a few minutes, so you might like to shut down the eyes, come into the breath, and feel the energy in the chest dorsal region. Again, draw your chin in slightly to lengthen through the back of the neck. Pressing into the feet now to just raise the hips and remove the block. And again, one at a time, one vertebra at a time, allow the back to come down onto the floor. Once again, taking the feet wide and allow the knees to come together. Inhale, rolling to the side and just coming on up now. Take over a 3-fold blanket. We're just going to do one quick forward fold. So a 3-fold blanket or a bolster, whatever height you need for Dandasana. So coming to the edge of your mat. Draw the legs out into Tadasana. Secure the sit bones on the edge of your mat or bolster, and you might like to just take the flesh of the buttocks away so that the sit bones can anchor. Tadasana in your legs, sending the thighs down. Bring your hands to your beside your hips. Now we're going to work the dorsal through and lift the chest here as you send the shoulders. Use the press into the blanket to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. And stay long through the tailbone here. Dandasana or staff pose. Inhale, raise the arms to Urdhva Hastasana. Now keep the lift in the chest and stay broad across your collarbones. Can you now draw the shoulders away from the ears? Stay long through the tailbone. And release. And now setting up for Shavasana. So because we've done a little bit of back bending, you may like to take a bolster under your knees just to allow the back to flatten out, the pelvis to flatten out a little more. So coming on down now into your Shavasana. If you're doing this at home and you don't need to come up with the rest of us and you've got time, you might like to just stay in your Shavasana for as long as you like, and the rest of us, I'll pull us out in a few minutes. So coming on down, making sure you've cleared all props, closing down the eyes. Allow the knees to fall wide, the feet to fall wide. And again, let's just use this last pose to draw attention to drawing the shoulders back down onto the mat. Gently lifting through the chest and maintaining a length through the back of your neck, soft through the throat. And come into your breath. Shavasana. Just bringing the awareness back to your body now. Bringing your hands to your tummy one at a time. Gently bending the knees and making your way over to the side. Be mindful of your bolsters and any other props that you've been using. Support the head as you go. And the benefits of chest opening, asanas, are immense. The heart chakra is opened, allowing the release of emotions. Mr. Iyengar says, asanas done from the brain makes one heavy. Yet, asanas done from the heart makes one light. So go gently with yourselves today, making your way up now to sitting, facing the front. Take the height you need, get comfortable, and bringing your hands to heart centre. Closing down the eyes. Namaste.
Namaste.
Raising the head, opening your eyes and releasing your arms. Thank you, Annika, and thank you for joining us today.